95.7 The Game breaking news.
And now we will be talking San Francisco Giants because the baseball team here has just announced that their manager, Gabe Kapler, has been fired. So after comments publicly made by Farhan Zaidi yesterday, it was clear that a vote of confidence was not in place. For me, it was when he mentioned, for example, that a 2-game series in Arizona where you absolutely had to win. We've got to look at whether or not we were prepared for that based on how we performed. To me, that was the giveaway. He does not even make it to the Dodgers series this weekend. Gabe Kapler has been relieved of his duties by the Giants.
As first reported by Susan Slusser, confirmed by the team moments later. I am surprised, Mark, that it happened on this day, Friday, as opposed to at the end of the season. Could you not have allowed him to manage 3 more games that are meaningless? There's nothing you can do but crawl back to 500. The season is over. Did you have to do it today? I think that this is a little bit of, I don't know if they did him dirty, quote unquote, but I don't know where the motivation is to do it now as opposed to on Monday.
I guess my question to you would be, what's the difference? Like, why is getting to Monday?
This is disrespectful.
Why?
To Gabe Kapler.
Well, I mean, they're firing the guy. So
Fine,
this is not a moment of respect.
No, but agreed. But you fire a guy with 3 games left, unless something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. This man was manager of the year 2 years ago. That's all you've talked about.
He was, and we've got plenty of time to discuss whether this was fair or not in a grand scheme. I would say this. After the comments made by Farhan yesterday, I think if you let Gabe manage this weekend, you're sending him to the media wolves all weekend long. He's got a meeting in the dugout scheduled with the media in about 3 hours, maybe in about 2.5.
Sure.
And what do you think the entire line of questioning was going to be? It was not going to be how you setting your rotation up for this weekend.
I suppose.
So I don't know. Is it disrespectful? What have you? Clearly the comments yesterday indicated either a decision had already been made, or they were knee-deep in discussing it. It was clearly public at that point that discussion was underway. It puts everybody who's still got a uniform on this weekend in a bit of a rough spot.
And it puts them in a bad light, I think. And maybe it got to the point today where Kapler walked in and said, if you're going to do it now. I don't want to have to, go through another 3 games. So we don't know all the details. We do know this. The first shoe has dropped, probably the only shoe in terms of...
I would agree.
And it's
I mean, there'll be new staff
you and I
members.
talked about 90%. Kapler and Zaidi, I thought, even as recently as a couple of weeks ago, I still was pretty confident they both would get one more crack. But as you've said, over the last 48, 72 hours, going back to the Logan Webb bomb from, I think that was Tuesday, where he talked about Pusoy dose and players not taking it seriously. And then the comments from Farhan Zaidi, all the dominoes start to fall. And now the news breaks today that Gabe Kapler has been relieved of duty.
Well, and of course, as you say, gosh, I can't believe they did this on a Friday. Say that out loud again. Yeah, they did it on a Friday.
I can't believe they did it with 3 games left to go is what I really mean. Friday news dump, fine. You're right.
Yeah, head into the football weekend. Who knows? Maybe everyone will preview the Niner Cardinal game.
Sure.
Who knows? Maybe we'll do it when Fred Warner's on with somebody.
I was going to ask Fred Warner about it.
Hey, Fred.
This just in.
Just hold there for 1 sec. We'll be right back.
Are you going to hit Dobbs as hard as the Giants just hit Gabe Kapler?
Well, here's the thing, and we want to hear from you. Get over to YouTube right now. We're going to be chatting about this all afternoon long. 888-957-9570. To me, there are 2 questions. 2 questions to answer for all of us, Giants observers, fans, what have you. Right move? Question mark. Right time? Question mark. Those are the 2 things that we can talk about. Is this the right time to do it? And I don't mean Friday versus Monday. I mean this year. And clearly you got to a point you were going to make a move.
Right.
Is this the right one?
That to me is the question. Is he the appropriate fall guy? Is he the one who should bear the brunt of the blame for the team's failure? And that, Mark, to me is the interesting question, because some people think that it's Farhan's roster and Gabe did the best he could do with a bad roster, and other people think, no, it's Gabe Kapler. This roster was better than how he managed it. So that to me is where I wonder where fans are, Mark, is is this the appropriate fall guy? Because you were right earlier in the week when you said Giants fans want, I think you said a slab of meat or a pound of flesh.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever you said is right. They had to do something.
They had to do something. And I think that there are going to be a healthy portion of people who say, now, if we all agree that the roster had shortcomings, why would you fire the guy who sort of overachieved with that roster? It's a fair question. I think the answer, though, is let's go a little deeper. This wasn't really about, in the moment, whose fault it was. It was about kind of poking the fire and getting a new scenario.
Yep.
It was about changing the calculus of this franchise. As I had said earlier this week, think about their name. They're called the Giants, but they feel small. They need to feel bigger. They need to feel different. Ownership hired Farhan. Farhan hired Gabe. So who's ownership more comfortable with? Who do they think is smarter? So ownership, like I do believe today, Farhan is staying. Farhan is staying.
Sure, but let me ask you this. Did the Giants get better today? Between 2 o'clock, you and myself and Lucas and Matt Nahigian, we had a nice little show chat, pre-show at about 1:40, and this topic came up, and Nahigian and we were talking about win, and I said, you don't even have to do it Monday. That's an NFL thing. Black Monday. You can wait. And you kind of agreed, although you thought that this was coming.
I did.
But I don't think that you saw it coming today.
Not this quick.
So I ask you, between 1:45, which was 40 minutes ago, and now, did the Giants get better?
There's only one way for me to answer that. And it is, not yet. Not yet. He ain't going to go out there and hit any home runs, whoever you bring in. Here's the statement from the Giants. After making this recommendation to ownership and receiving their approval, I met with Gabe today to inform him of our decision. This is from Giants president of baseball operations, Farhan Zaidi. So in other words, he ain't going anywhere. He continues. In his tenure as Giants manager, Gabe led our team through an unprecedented pandemic in 2020 and a franchise record 107 wins and postseason berth in 2021. He has been dedicated and passionate in his efforts to improve the on-field performance of the San Francisco Giants, and I have tremendous respect for him as a colleague and friend. On behalf of the Giants organization, we wish Gabe the best of luck in his future endeavors and thank him for his contributions over the last 4 years.
Ariana Grande, Thank You Next is what that is.
It's actually Brandon Crawford's favorite song to play a few years ago after wins.
I wonder if they're playing it right now. And I also wonder if Pusoy Dos will be played pregame today.
Jock sitting there going, I outlasted Gabe at least.
It's a shock.